I'm Daniel Clockfelter, and I have my sidekick, Bonnie Lilac, who is pushing the buttons today. That's what she likes to do.
Good morning.
And good morning. And I just want to tell people, because there's going to be people that watch this in a recording, and I want to share how this comes about, like how we came about on our strategy partners calls. And usually they're closed, but we're going to put this out, and we invited some other people to it for new faces. But it comes from my personal belief that we all do better once we know better. And we really can't do better until we've been introduced and exposed to something to do better. So if I share a system with you that's better, you're most likely to implement that system. And what I want to do is give access to experts that I talk to, all the way across the board, professional, everything from attorneys to CPAs to anything that, roofers, anything that we need in our business, and we all need, like these wills and estates. This is super important for everybody. And talking about an expert that we've got access to today, and there's going to be 2 more videos. There'll be 2 more weeks, this 3 weeks in total. So we'll get through as much as we can get through. But Andy Hartman is here.
Okay, so the first thing we do when you tell us, or when you advise us that we have a closing coming up where we have a seller that may be deceased or somebody on title that is deceased, we go into our own means of evaluating that. And come on now, don't freeze up on me. Okay, so when you tell us that we have a title holder is deceased, we're gonna approach it systematically. We have checklists. Our first consideration is who owns the property and how is the title held. You may find yourself in a situation where the person that you has approached you to list a property and sell it is not on the title at all, or they are on the title. However, the title is shared with another individual, a spouse usually, who is deceased. Okay? Here are the 2 most common how propositions. You're either gonna find that property is held as joint tenants with right of survivorship, and I know all of you know what that is. It's my understanding you go over that in comprehensive detail in your real estate licensure. But we'll get into that a little more anyway. If you're not holding as joint tenants with right of survivorship, you're holding as what we call tenants in common. All right? So let's take a scenario here where we've got a husband and wife, 2 owners, Mickey and Minnie Mouse. We've evaluated the deed, and we find that they own as joint tenants with right of survivorship, okay? For title to pass to the survivor, when you have a deed that has this language, you have all of the following conditions that must apply, okay? You have a deed to your sellers. When they acquire the title to the property, that language, joint tenants with right of survivorship, must be in the deed. In the absence of that phrase, the default in Georgia is tenants in common. All right, your 2 individuals on title must still be married. A divorce decree will nullify the joint tenancy with survivorship provision, the presumption being that if you get a divorce, you are not then wanting your share of that property to automatically go to that spouse, okay? Neither party can have granted any ownership, share, or interest in the property by themselves to a third party. If Mickey and Minnie own as joint tenancy with right of survivorship, and let's say Minnie on the side has a little thing with Donald Duck, and Donald, she shoots Donald Duck over an interest in the property, her interest, or all of it or part of it, that joint tenancy provision has been breached at that point. Also, we need a copy of the death certificate. So at any time when you have a closing coming up where you have a deceased person, and if we tell you that it's joint tenants with right of survivorship, and then which means everything's fine, no probate is needed, the closing still cannot proceed until we've got a copy of the death certificate, because we have to show the rest of the world why we're proceeding forward with only one of the 2 people that are listed on the title. And we file an affidavit, attach a copy of the death certificate. We can redact private things. We don't necessarily have to have in there how they died or certain other things, but we have to be able to prove of public record that we did possess and have a copy of the death certificate. And by providing that affidavit, you save yourself and your buyer, your seller and your buyer, and us from getting phone calls about it in perpetuity. If all of these apply and your co-owner under the deed is still alive, we just record that affidavit of survivorship and they can proceed to closing, no issues, okay? And this is an example here. If you look in this deed, on the 2nd line of the deed, you see after Mickey and Minnie's name, you see as joint tenants with right of survivorship. Now, Bobby, I don't know North Carolina law. I assume that this is something similar in your state.
It does. It looks the same.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess I should say that everything I'm doing today is based upon my knowledge of Georgia's real estate law, and as limited or as expansive as that is the limit of it. So if things vary in your state, just keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So these, this is the general language in here. It makes reference to Official Code of Georgia 44.6.19, being that the intention of the parties was to create for the grantees a joint tenancy estate with survivorship. It's important as closing attorneys that we actually ask your folks if they want that. We have a number of situations when closings occur where you only have one of the two spouses being the borrower, and so in that case, many times the lender doesn't want the other spouse on any of their documents. So you need to make sure your closing attorney is asking your buyers at the table, hey, Bob, I noticed you're our borrower and you're our buyer today. Are you going to want to add Joanne as a co-owner? And it's something you might do privately to the side and just sort of let us know, because sometimes you'll find out that there could be reasons why they do not want to add that spouse. If that spouse has credit issues, judgments, liens, if they themselves are recently divorced, there could be reasons to leave them off the title for a while. Yeah, I tend to talk ahead of my slides, so we already talked about this. All right, so here's a death certificate, for example. Somebody that helped me put this together thought it'd be clever to say that Mickey died by being caught in a mousetrap. So we can redact that kind of stuff. We don't have to let all the other mice of the world know that Mickey was stupid enough to get himself caught in a mousetrap.
I'll be sharing insightful and informative videos on stress-free retirement, being your own bank, setting up college funds, understanding Social Security, wills, probate, trust, and how the Fed Reserve rate hikes affect your mortgage rates. And always, real estate solutions. I'm your go-to expert in real property. Look for my YouTube channel, living in Canton, Georgia, where it is sunny as can be right now. If you find value here, please like and share so others might as well. Remember, I'm not a videographer, not a video editor. I just want to share the most important info with you guys. Each video has a full version of around half hour or so, but there are multiple shorts of only 5 minutes or less as well. My name, Daniel Klopfelter. My area of specialty is real estate and asset protection for more than 25 years. So why am I exhorting you to view financial-based videos on a real estate channel? Good question. I believe that we all do better when we know better, which is why I'm here to expose you to a team of experts who know the topics that matter most. All of these topics work in unison. Full disclosure, I receive nothing for doing these videos other than the satisfaction of adding value to you. So smash that like button already. What are you waiting for? Share this so other people can see it. Y'all have a great day.